You are listening to the Beaverton, North America's trusted source of news.
This week on the Beaverton, the Liberals have unveiled their new slogan, Canada Strong, not to be confused with the Conservative slogan, Canada First, or the NDP slogan, Canada won't vote for us. Israel ends the ceasefire agreement they never complied with in order to force Hamas to comply with the ceasefire agreement Israel still won't be complying with. And we do a daily recap of all the news we missed since November 2018. It's going to take 3 hours and get super depressing around 2020. That's right, it's finally time to start making fun of the news again. It's the Beaverton Weekly Report for March 19th, 2025. Welcome back to the show, everyone. We are so excited to be here in the wonderful From Superheroes podcast studio. We are so excited to be back making the Beaverton Weekly Report. My name is Luke Gordon-Field, and before we begin and I introduce our amazing panel, I think I owe you an explanation for where this show / I went for the last 6.5 years. Not to get into all the details, but basically we at the Beaverton were tied up with some other projects. In order, they were TV show, baby, pandemic, second baby, and being too broke to pay our bills, let alone podcast recording costs. But now that TV show is canceled, we've all agreed to pretend the pandemic is over. The babies are full-grown children with lots of opinions on Minecraft, and thanks to our wonderful Patreon members, we can afford to do this again. Thank you, Patreon members, if you're listening. If you're not, it's okay, we got your money already. But thank you so much. You saved our butts, and I am extremely excited to jump into the news. But before I do, I have the honor of introducing our panel for our first episode back. We are mixing things up a little bit this year. Instead of having a new panel every week, we are delighted to have regular panelists, a rotation of regular panelists, who are going to appear every week, allowing you to get to know them and love them as much as I do. Seriously, these are some of the funniest people in the world, and I was shocked when they all agreed to do it. We're going to meet Megan, our fourth panelist, next week. This week we have Clare, Blackwood, Ian MacIntyre, and now again, welcome all of you.
Hello.
Great to be here.
Thrilled.
In the world? We have to take that over.
Yeah, fair enough. Yeah. Let's dial it down to like the GTA.
Maybe. How about this room?
That's a lot of pressure.
Burn on Andrew.
Yeah.
I don't know. There is a
Stay
dog
on,
in
Andrew.
this room, and the dog is quite funny.
Super funny dog. Yeah.
All right. I mean, hyperbole is a good way to start, and then we'll set expectations super high and then not live up to them. That's the great way to do a podcast. My one kind of introductory question for you all, other than thank you for being here, which is not a question, is did you look at the news and immediately regret agreeing to do this show?
Yes, especially when you were texting me at midnight last night about uber depressing news stories that we could cover on this.
Yeah. I mean, I assume at this point, when you get texts from me, you're just like, ugh. Because it's always like, I think we need to cover this. It's really sad and no one will like it, but I feel a duty. And you're like, okay, go to bed. And I'm like, right. Yeah, that's an option.
I mean, sometimes they're about jokes that are too mean for the website. That's fine.
That's fine, too.
Yeah, I mean, the way I look at it is like there's only so much you can cry. And then you just have to move on and make jokes.
Yeah.
That's our other podcast that we're doing.
That's this podcast slogan now.
Wait, the other podcast is just crying. It's like an ASMR thing.
Yeah. It's like the worst
Weeping
ASMR.
in a room.
Politics ASMR. It's just a dude talking, and then like everyone else is crying.
I'm pretty sure that was Trudeau's speeches during COVID, was just him doing a kind of weird ASMR press conference and all of us being like, we're so sad.
You can hear the wind.
Friends. You're like, oh, Jesus.
The wind going through his beard. Yeah. It's just so soothing.
Bonjour, mes amis.
Well, why don't we dive in? Because our first story, our top story, Canada has a new prime minister. I'm sure a lot of people listening are assuming that we intentionally scheduled our first episode back to be right after the new leader / prime minister would be sworn in, to which I say, we are not that smart. Happy coincidence. Mark Carney was sworn in on Friday. He's been PM for about 5 days or so now as of the release of this podcast. And, if American late night shows have taught me anything, it's that before we talk about Mark Carney, the PM, the leader, the politician, we must first establish our comedic reference for what he looks like. Pierre Poilievre is Milhouse, Stephen Harper was a Lego man, et cetera, et cetera. So panelists, if you could I have your best John Oliver style Mark Carney looks like joke?
Do you want the British accent? No, you know what? I'm not going to put you all through that.
Don't tempt me.
I would say Mark Carney is what ChatGPT would spit out if you typed in, show me a man whose safe word is fiscal conservatism.
Wow. Nice. Mark Carney looks like central casting for dad struggling to connect with his daughter's choices.
On those lines, I think Mark Carney looks like your mom's new boyfriend who's good for her, but you're never going to be close.
Solid. I got Mark Carney looks like the head vampire's advisor in a Blade movie. Like he is a vampire, but he's still an advisor, to be clear.
He's still in a suit.
He's still in a suit. Oh, 100%. But the leader is in like a leather jacket with no shirt.
Yeah.
And Mark Carney's just there being like, but the club that rains blood costs us $1 million a month.
Vampire's got a bank too. I think Mark Carney looks like if TurboTax were a human.
Oh,
Wow,
nice.
nice.
I like that.
I got Mark Carney looks like every DA from every Law and Order series ever.
It looks like the guy who does James Bond's taxes.
Oh.
Mark Carney looks like Ethan Hunt from Mission Impossible's boss giving a speech about how dangerous Ethan Hunt is right before he pulls his mask off to reveal he's been Ethan Hunt the whole time.
I think he looks like the mascot the Bank of Canada would hire if it wanted to look even less fuckable.
Oh, shots fired.
I got Mark Carney looks like Jason Bourne is going to break into his office for revenge. You made me this.
I think he looks like the principal who's pretty chill, but really wishes you'd vape outside.
Nice.
Nice. I'm tapped. Anyone got another one? Or are we good?
few.
You got? Go for it.
Just
I
you.
just went off
Spotlight
on one.
Nile,
These are not
prepared.
going to be great, but they're here. Mark Carney's what happens if you wring out a wet copy of The Economist into a Hadron Collider.
Oh, yeah.
I got Mark Carney looks like he argues with Nick Fury over hologram Zoom. Mark Carney looks like it's his job to make sure Fox Mulder never uncovers the truth.
That's good.
Thank you.
That's
Thank
good.
you. A lot of these are just deep cuts. Like they're not funny, but you'll be like, nice.
Yeah.
There's be a lot of that.
That's all my comedy.
All right. All right, just a few more, guys. We're almost there. Mark Carney looks like he should be held hostage in Nakatomi Plaza. Yeah, see, that's a head nod right
Die
there.
Hard, got it.
Mark
yes.
Carney looks like he's a partner at the firm that Aaron Brockovich hates. And finally, Mark Carney looks like he had to listen to blind Al Pacino explain why Charlie should not be expelled.
Whoa.
Scent of a woman,
Scent
everybody.
of a
I
woman.
was like, I don't get that. I feel
He's
bad.
got like a face, like I was just looking at him, I'm like, he looks like every white guy from every movie/TV show ever.
He's every
not-
Suits villain, essentially.
Yeah.
He's like-
but he's never a lead. He's always the villain
Oh, no,
or a
like,
third or fourth run supporting
he's
actor.
a character
Yeah.
actor with like 3 houses.
Yeah.
It's like, you're like, oh God, all right, is that guy?
That guy's been working since the 90s. He was on...
for sure.
Yeah, he was on a sitcom
Picket
that ran
Fences
for
or
4 years.
something.
Yeah.
Well, those were all wonderful. I do think I have to give the win to Nile on that one. It's worth nothing, but you got the win.
sweet.
I don't know what that means.
See, just quantity, not quality. Everybody.
I wasn't told
Make a
there'd be
note.
wins on this
note.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
was not told this either.
Immediately, our competitive instincts have kicked in to the extent we're
boy.
like, well, this is ruined now.
I was also not told I would not have shown up.
Even though you've
competitive,
won,
I was like, I don't know.
even though you've won some generic thing.
Yeah.
The former gifted kid in me is like, what the fuck?
I'm retiring now. I'm quitting I'm at the top. This
Yeah.
is only going to get worse from here.
We
Anyways,
are
thanks
going
for
to
having me
do a
on.
quiz at the end that has a real winner. This is not part of that. I guess you could have a point for that. Does that count?
Sure,
You get a point
okay.
for the quiz that means nothing? Sure. That's what a win means.
The points don't matter.
Love it. Love it.
All right. Well, yeah. So Mark Joseph Carney, a little bit of background for you all. He was born 1965, Northwest Territories. I think that makes him the first PM born in the Territories. I did not look that up. Studied at Harvard and Oxford, worked at Goldman for many years before joining the Bank of Canada. As most people know, he was head of the Bank of Canada during the 2008 financial crisis, when Canada was one of the only major countries to not have any banks go under. Score one for oligopolies there. And then moved to the... Yay! You know what? No one talks about how Loblaws will never go out of business. It's pretty great if you think about it from that perspective.
I love how they have us all cheering. Hooray! Wait, what did we get of that? Nothing? Okay, yeah.
Also, the Beaverton brought to you by Loblaw.
Galen, Weston, what are you doing here?
He then moved to the Bank of England in time for Brexit to happen. So basically, disaster follows this man everywhere he goes.
He's like Angela Lansbury in Murder, She Wrote. People just keep dying wherever he shows up, and no one comments on it. But
Yeah, it's people, societies, one of the two.
Yeah.
Please don't give Poilievre any more ammunition. He's just lost carbon tax, Carney.
he was our first Patreon subscriber, so he's listening right now.
Really?
Wait, what?
No,
Is it the same guy? Oh.
I mean, he could have. I mean, anyone
God damn
could
it,
be.
I'm so
He could have used
gullible.
a username that we didn't
I
recognize.
mean, it's your delivery. That face was just like.
That's because I
what?
mispronounced
Really?
Patreon and subscriber, so it made it harder to make out.
But he is, so he's got a bit of a good track record in dealing with very bad situations, which is also maybe good for what he's going to be walking into, which we will talk about. Also, maybe a sign that, when he arrives, as you said, bad things happen. It also, to me, says something about just how dark things were politically in this country 4 or 5 months ago, because I feel like in the last couple months, everyone I know on the left has been like, a former Goldman Sachs banker who wants to cut spending? My heart. There's people are so excited about this clearly center-right politician just because he's not Pierre Poilievre. Are you excited for Mark Carney as PM? Are you hopeful? How does everyone feel about Mark Carney?
I think you know what it is? This is strictly emotional. Obviously not rational. I just want to see Poilievre lose. He's just got that face
Yes.
where I'm like, I don't even care who's winning. I'm just like, yeah, eat it. Taste it, Pierre. Taste it.
Yes.
Just
He's been so far ahead for so long that it'll be that much sweeter.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, and he's so boring, which is
You
almost...
got to narrow that down. Which one are we talking about?
Carney. Sorry, I don't find Poilievre. I can have many words for Poilievre, and boring is not one of them.
Interesting.
But yeah, no, Carney's just so boring, which is, I think what people want at this point.
Mm-hmm. Oh, for sure.
Because I think this is a perfect example of nobody likes Poilievre. I think there's a 2% of the population who actually like this man, and the rest of them just hated Trudeau.
Well, the poll numbers would back that up because they have swung so far in the direction of the Liberals and so fast.
Yes.
This has never happened before. 4-ish months ago, let's say, whatever it was, this was the Conservatives' high water mark. 338 Canada, which is like a polling aggregator and election predictor site that has a very stellar track record, was saying Conservative majority is over 99% likely in the next election. A few hours before we record, they came out and said it is now the most likely scenario is a Liberal majority. That is how hard the polls have swung from a tsunami, like a 93 level tsunami, but against the Liberals, to a full on likely situation where the Liberals are going to win. And it's got to be exactly that, because Carney has done nothing to earn any of our support.
Oh, no. He's like the first Canadian politician to ever get a Trump bump.
Yeah.
Right? Usually that's on the American side, but it's like, we're all like, oh my God, please.
I really like to think that if you say the words Liberal majority 3 times into a mirror, Pierre Poilievre appears just sobbing uncontrollably.
The best part about Poilievre is he will be such a sore loser. He will take it the worst.
We're going to go full on, recount the votes. This is a rigged election, et cetera, et cetera.
Yeah.
He also would have been a sore winner, though.
Oh, of course.
Whatever's happening, he's
worse.
going to be a dick about it.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a given. Absolutely.
He's going to need a whole bushel of apples to eat.
And again, it's amazing that in all of this conversation about Mark Carney in this block, we can't stop talking about Poilievre.
Stuff about Carney, we skipped.
Because we know Carney, he banks real good.
Yeah,
sure.
He is such
So
an
I'm told.
NPC.
Good job.
He's such a character actor in real life. He's that guy that it's what you want in a pilot. Just bland rice. You don't want to hang out with him, but man, your best odds of landing the plane. Wow, you got to step out of the industry. You got to get outside. You're in too deep.
We're all doing the biz. But no, I know what you mean. If a pilot shows up with sunglasses on, I'm like,
Yeah, no, absolutely.
Too much of a hot dog.
But if you're nodding off while he's talking, fantastic.
Yeah.
You're
Nice.
probably gonna get us home.
Yeah.
Or at least best odds.
Yeah, but I would like to think that in this scenario where all of a sudden Poilievre, as you said, Ian, has been the guy who everyone knew was going to be prime minister as soon as an election happened for 3+ years now, that even the most die-hard conservative could acknowledge that him losing and this particular person losing in that scenario is very, very funny. Even if they hate it, even if they want to move out of the country to escape the liberal, communist agenda or whatever, I think they got to acknowledge that is the funniest thing Poilievre has ever done. Outside of maybe that video where he was rubbing wood and talking about how much he loves wood.
He loves it so much.
That's a deep cut on Poilievre, but that was a real video.
I don't follow him on TikTok,
He's
so I don't know.
He's very sexually attracted to lumber. It's a whole thing.
I don't know. I think the funniest thing Poilievre ever did was when he did that event. I think it was at the Stampede where he was wearing like a tight white shirt and a cowboy hat.
White cowboy hat.
And he looked like a Euro pop star from the 90s.
All about the bass.
Yes, exactly, right? He has such resting wiener face that everyone inherently like, okay, I want to see him lose.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Like his concession speech should, if it happens, will have to go up on Pornhub or some equivalent. Like people will just be so into that. It's like there's just a level of enjoyment on a sexual and every other
none
level.
of
I'm
us
really
saw that
happy that
coming.
you said that because I was going to say something similar and I'm like, I don't want that quoted on the internet.
I don't want my name on that one.
Well,
no.
too bad. I got
I'm
editing
the only-
powers. I'm just going to dub my voice
I'm the
over
only
your mouth
woman in this
moving.
room right now. We don't want that.
Oh my God.
No, I just mean it's just there is going to, if it happens, and again, I think this is a cross spectrum. It's not even an ideological thing. It's just this human being thing. If that happens, again, there's just going to be a level of enjoyment to it that is deeper than any pleasure I've ever known. And we can move on that. No, I'm just kidding.
Listen. I don't follow the news as closely as I should. This probably is going to be my last appearance on the show. But I did come across. There was one video. This was months ago, and I was like, oh, fuck, he's going to be prime minister because it was him getting interviewed like in a field somewhere.
Yeah, the
Yeah.
apple.
Where he was
yeah.
eating an
Apples?
apple,
Yeah.
and he's just crushing this guy. I'm like, oh my God. And I was like, that was the first time I saw big, small dick energy. I've never seen it before. He's pioneered it. I was like, oh no, just the worst case
And
scenario.
You know what's interesting is that I remember seeing, I think it was The Daily Show. It got picked up, that moment in that interview got picked up by like US, but they treated it like a good thing. It's really interesting to see. Yeah, they were like, don't fuck with this guy.
Yeah.
Like this guy's clearly got a big dick energy. And I was sitting here being like, you don't have a clue. You don't have a clue what's going on up there. You just look at this and you're like, that's funny. We're going to assume it's a good thing.
Yeah, but I feel like, the States looks at the rest of the world like the way we would look at Luxembourg. Like if a clip of the leader of their opposition showed up, we'd be like, wow, that guy got rocked. And then it was like, he's a Nazi. Oh shit, really?
I understand it. I just remember being like, oh no, guys, no.
Yeah. Even their good guys in the States do their best.
I just don't understand how they can't look at Poilievre and understand that is the face of a man who, when he loses, will be crying into a Japanese waifu body pillow. Like, no doubt.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Is that the one with faces on them?
The full body thing that you hug.
Is it Justin's face?
And I was going to ask whose face is on the body
Justin's
pillow.
face on like a Sailor Moon body. You know it is.
Yeah. No, that's it.
I think you can tell how desperate the Conservatives are because one of the first attacks that I saw on Poilievre before Conservative circuits came out and attacked him attacks on Carney, before Conservative circuits came out and started attacking his kids today, which is a whole other thing.
Oh, good.
Was that Poilievre literally said, and without a hint of irony, said, Mark Carney only has slogans. I have real solutions.
Yes.
Which, it's like the Leafs making fun of the Oilers for choking in the playoffs. Sorry for the sports reference. I know no one here at this table cares about sports.
Hey.
But do you? Sorry.
You're talking to the biggest baseball fan in this room.
Oh, okay. So I know no one here cares about hockey.
True.
There we go.
Accurate.
But it's like
Fix it in post.
it's a level of like, I know you are, but what am I? That is either so delusional or he was like, it was like a troll, I think.
No, you're missing the best part of this post, which was he was like, Mark Carney has nothing but slogans. And then he went, I'm going to put Canada first or something like that. He literally just followed it up with a recognizable slogan.
Yeah.
The lack of self-awareness was truly, I was like, chef's kiss. Good for you, man.
I think the thing is, for stuff like that, it's kind of like, when you get like a voicemail and it's like, your SIN number has been confiscated and a warrant for your arrest, like that kind of thing. And you think it's hilarious. And then you have a moment where you're like, oh, that works on people. Otherwise, they wouldn't be doing it. I feel like that's why he did it. We're sitting here like, you idiot. And then he did it because it's going to work.
Hey,
All
that's
you
my
gotta
day
do is-
job. I send those out. They do work.
He just manifests it. It's just the secret. They just have slogans. He's right.
But I was always curious about that because, I'm chronically online and I'm like, I don't know Mark Carney's slogans.
I don't think Mark Carney knows Mark
I don't
Carney's
think Mark
slogans.
Carney's slogans. It was just such
Maybe
a
that's a
weird. It was such a weird attack.
Mark Carney, slogan TBD.
Mark Carney, I don't know my own slogans.
Yeah, because I agree that stuff does work if it's true. And they don't care about the truth either. But still, for somebody who's so known for his slogans to be, pot calling the kettle black, it was just like, no. But he doesn't have slogans yet, sweetie. You got to give him like a couple days.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think they came up with their slogan like a few hours before we recorded, and Poilievre's attack was like several days ago. It's just
That
like,
was probably the move, right? Because then you're going to come up with a slogan.
Yes.
So
Yeah.
then if that's out in the world, it's like,
Yeah.
see, I told you, he came up with a slogan. Next thing, he's going to start running for office. Like, that's that kind
Doing
of bullshit.
speeches, am I right? Yeah.
Like right now, Poilievre is basically just fucking Drake, just banging out tunes. Are any of these gonna catch? Are any of these? No, I'm a
Next
pedophile
year,
forever. Okay.
Carney will be on the CFL halftime show, calling out Poilievre.
Poilievre will be suing his own record label.
Yeah.
But quickly before we move on, I do want to talk about Mark Carney, what he's done so far, which has only been 5 days, so it's obviously limited.
I think he got the bathroom key, and that's about it.
Well, I got 2 whole things for you.
Oh, yeah.
So he, the first thing he did is he did appoint a cabinet. The obviously we're not going to go through every cabinet member. He dramatically reduced the
Even
number
though we all know them all.
We totally do. We're very smart.
Yeah, for listeners, we all stared directly into camera upon saying that. But he severely cut the number of cabinet members, which again, it's going to be a very short-term cabinet, so who really cares? The one thing that was kind of like a bit of a dick move was he made Chrystia Freeland Minister of Transport, which I think it would have been more dignified to just not have her in cabinet. That's such a this woman was co-running the country for the last 4 years, and now she's the person we get mad at when we don't like the pictures in our passports.
Is it also
Just go handle the trains.
Does she also get trade or just transport?
I think she got some kind of trade too. I don't think it's the only trade, but yes, there is trade.
I feel like that's a thing right now.
Yeah.
I mean, they are trying to make the high-speed train thing happen. So I would love for her to make that happen.
Yeah, I mean, that was obviously a Trudeau promise. We'll see if Carney
know.
sticks with that one.
I know.
Because Friedland loves making Trudeau promises.
Oh, yeah.
No, she's all about that right
Loves
now.
that man.
And the only other thing he did that I want to chat about quickly is he did cancel the carbon tax. Yes, he is. He did an He hasn't passed any bill withdrawing or whatever. He did an executive order in council. The Conservatives' point would be that he canceled 30% of the carbon tax, the consumer carbon tax, and the industrial carbon tax, as they call it, is still very active. He is still getting, I felt like, a lot of credit for canceling it from people who didn't like it, which the Liberals getting credit for canceling the carbon tax is kind of like when your dad would ground you for 2 weeks and then your mom talks to him and gets it reduced to 1. And you're like, mom's the best. And you're like, wait, they were in cahoots the whole time. They were clearly working together the whole time. But it's hilarious that the Liberals, again, I was in favor of the carbon tax, but it's hilarious that the Liberals can have a thing, have people hate it so much for various reasons, and then get bonus points for canceling it. What other bad policies do you want to pass and then withdraw and get credit for withdrawing?
Yeah, I wonder if Carney can just turn Justin Trudeau in the punching bag and be like, this idiot, am I right?
Yeah.
Good thing that guy's gone, who I worked with all the time. Definitely wasn't an insider with.
And it's essentially a symbolic move, right? Because he's going to be implementing other environmental policies. The guy's a milquetoast, man, but I think he is known for being passionate about environmental issues.
Sure.
So I'm looking forward to seeing what he subtly replaces the carbon tax with. This was clearly just like a fuck you, Poilievre. I'm getting rid of your ammunition. I'm getting rid of one of the 2 things that you've hinged your entire campaign on. What are you gonna do now, fucker? And I feel like he was probably very satisfied. So I think it was a very smart move because nobody understood it because it was brought out very poorly. It was messaged very poorly. And so I think it's a very symbolic kind of, I'm starting my prime ministership by just getting rid of this divisive thing, which will then, obviously, we're just going to put some other stuff in there to do the exact same thing. But just don't worry about that. Fuck Poilievre.
Yeah, but to your you said about messaging, I think the thing the Conservatives are the most scared about is not that they'll bring the carbon tax out. They're scared that they'll bring it back and explain it right this time. Yeah.
Maybe don't allow it to be called a tax.
Yeah. Maybe start there.
Jesus Christ.
And maybe actually explain to people you get money back for this. It is a good thing.
Yeah. What carbon is? Let's start there. I'm not joking. You're laughing. I'm not joking.
I just rebrand the whole goddamn thing. It's not even carbon, just being like, hey, it's a hockey gift. And that's it. Do you like the hockey gift? Oh my God, I love it. What's it connected to? Carbon. What? It's hockey, right?
High-fiving on the street I got my hockey gift this week, right?
I also didn't hear
beer
the T. I just thought you said hockey gif, like just a gif of Austin Matthews playing
Either
something.
or.
And I was
Just
like,
throw in
sure.
hockey and beer, and that is it. It worked for fucking Ford.
Yeah, that's
Let's
true.
do it.
I mean, that is Ford's ability to just be like, "What do people like? Beer. All right, that is
Sure.
is a lesson for other politicians." We don't really have time to get into Ford too much this episode,
Just
but
win messy. Man.
yeah.
Yeah.
I'll tell
guys
you
want
who's
a
going to
hockey
be
party?
who's going to be the happiest when Poilievre flames out in a couple of months is Doug Ford for sure.
Oh,
God,
yeah,
yes.
he's coming in. Yeah,
Yeah.
that is the logical. It's rare in Canada for provincial premiers to step up to federal level. Not unheard of, but rare. But if anyone has clearly shown they're an electoral juggernaut enough to do it, it would be Doug Ford. Which
Well,
is
he does
insane.
look like the juggernaut of Marvel Comics. But yeah, no, I know just having followed the Fords for 15 years now and hating them the whole time, my luck dictates that he will be prime minister in my lifetime.
We were having such a positive vibes moment, man.
Welcome back to the Beaverton. Did you miss this podcast content?
Everything is sad.
Well, why don't we turn our attentions to the reason that the Liberals are seeing such a rebound in the polls, as we talked about, and that is, of course, Donald Trump. The Trump bounce, as now said. Are you guys aware of what feature about the border between Canada and the U.S. that Donald Trump brought up to justify annexing us this week?
I'm going to assume it was Taylor Swift. I'm going to assume he just yelled that. I think it's time to put him in a home. I think he just screamed, Taylor Swift! And then just went and ate a burger and took a nap.
Yeah.
I like to think that he got confused and he heard something like the bare naked ladies got stopped at the border and he was like, that can't ever happen again.
No, I think he's still mad about Schitt's Creek winning the Emmy a couple years ago. He's like, that should have been an American show.
Should have been
How
Hacks.
dare they?
Yeah, he's a big Hacks fan.
Big Hacks fan. He also
Loves
hates
Steve
the fact. He also hates the fact that it's a show about rich people having consequences. And he's like, that can't be. No, get that Canadian shit out of here.
All wonderful and completely wrong. The thing he said specific is he noticed that the border between our countries, I don't want to blow your guys' minds.
No.
Someone just drew a line through it. Someone just drew a line through our two countries.
Right.
Specifically, talking about a combined Canada and U.S., I'm not going to do the voice, obviously. This would be the most incredible country visually. If you look at a map, they drew an artificial line right through it between Canada and the U.S. Just a straight artificial line. Someone did it a long time ago, many, many decades ago. So I don't want to blow your guys' mind again, but Trump has discovered the concept of borders as they've applied throughout history.
I just get so mad because you just, like, I know that we've talked about this in various points, but it's like we're getting to a post-satire age where this man is just ruining our jobs because it's just
But still listen to our podcast.
Yes, please, consume our content. But it's just, he's so dumb. And how do you satirize that? It's like he thinks somebody took a giant Sharpie and just drew a line and he's like, there we go. We can just erase that. What do you even do with that? I don't know. Every time I hear stuff like that, I get filled with rage.
Yeah, we talk a lot about how evil is. We don't talk enough about how dumb he is.
Yes.
It's a coin and it flips and it goes in two directions. Like it's either or. He's either dumb or evil. Sometimes he's both. But he's on an average day. Sometimes he's more evil than dumb, and sometimes he's more dumb than evil. This was more dumb than evil.
But I think it's a weaponized stupidity.
Yes.
Because he understands. Well, he's like, I'm gonna open my mouth and something's gonna come out. I don't know what it is, and whatever it is will drive a news cycle for a day.
Right.
And people won't pay
Yes.
attention to the evil that I'm doing.
Yeah, you bog him down with too many things. They can't focus on it. They're like,
Definitely that's his move. His move is the overwhelm, for sure.
Yeah.
I just don't know if he's, like, honestly, I don't know if he's that smart. He might be. You know what? I think he's, do you guys remember the movie Twilight Zone? Also in that episode of Twilight Zone, there was like a 5-year-old boy that had like superpowers, or a 10-year-old kid, and everyone was like, "It's good that you." And they were all just creeping around this kid who just could alter reality.
Yeah.
That is Trump. Everyone's just
Oh,
like,
for
he's a
living
5-year-old
around this
child.
child.
yes. And he's surrounded by more evil, smarter people. who know that they can use him and manipulate him.
Actually, I think with Trump, I think the term is eviler now.
Oh, thank God.
He said eviler, so that's the term. That's how this
Eviler,
works.
Smarter, yeah.
See, I thought you meant it was like the Twilight Zone movie, and that Trump also killed several people with a helicopter, like John Landis.
I was like, wait, is that the same movie?
It is the same movie. It is the same movie.
He kept working after that. That's fun.
lot.
Anyways, and I know Trump means it in a Napoleon, like, I will conquer all of Europe and unite it under my banner kind of way. But there's also a flip side to that idea of like artificial borders, which is like this very hippie 1960s Pierre Trudeau version, which
he's
is like,
high.
man, I'm just a citizen of the world. These artificial borders keep us apart. Who
Money's just
cares?
paper,
Yeah,
man.
on
exactly.
one hand, build the wall, and on the other hand, open the borders. Figure that one out.
That's amazing.
Mensa.
Get rid of all borders, but put a wall somewhere, and it's not a border now. It's just a wall in a desert.
Well, I don't get it. Why don't we just, like, okay, look, instead of that, well, I got a repitch. Why don't we just take which country ranks the highest in all, like, life quality markers, and whichever has the highest ranking, you become a part of that country.
So somewhere in Scandinavia.
Why aren't the states becoming a part of us, is what I'm saying. Why aren't they the, how many provinces do we
11th.
have? Thank you.
Yeah.
Really?
It would
Well,
make
there's 10, but they would be the 11th.
Okay.
Yeah.
Felt like we had more.
Well, I'm not counting the territories.
Pluto's not
I'm being discriminatory to the territories. I'm sorry.
Mark Carney would be so upset.
You don't want to make Dad mad.
Can Mark Carney get upset? Have we established that?
I don't think he can.
No.
Only when, like, I guess you average less than the S&P 500 in your annual returns. But other than that,
He's not mad, he's disappointed. Though.
yeah.
Carney doesn't get upset, he gets disappointed. That's his action movie slogan. I don't get mad, I get disappointed. What?
Trump also said that, and he's made this point before, but he made it again, that, the reason he's going to do these tariffs, among many other reasons, is that the U.S. doesn't need anything from us. They can do everything themselves, which is technically true. Any country with enough land and resources could do everything for themselves. It results in you paying more for worse shit.
Yeah.
Like, Germany, obviously one of the most famous car-making countries in the world, when they split in two, Eastern Germany said, we're not buying any of that crap Western Germany, Mercedes and BMWs. We're going to make our own. And everyone drove around in the biggest piece of shit car ever called the Trabi and had to pretend to be happy about it. So it's like, it's this thing that's like...
How do you know this?
I'm weird. No,
Right? Like, that was really accurate. And, like, it sounded like you were remembering, which doesn't make any sense.
I have driven. I've driven a
Eastern
Trabi.
Oh, shit.
I have driven. They still have them. I've driven a Trabi. Yeah, when I was in, when I did an exchange in Germany for 4 or 5 months, and
Were you destroying electoral reform there?
yeah.
I was just gonna say, it was in his piece of shit era.
It's just going around the world, just crushing voter reform.
Well, he finished it here and then moved on.
Look, I was a piece of shit. I was a
check.
successful piece of
Germany
shit.
next.
I mean, Germany's never had a problem with people moving there and causing problems, so it's all right.
Yeah. White man goes around fucking everything up that's never been done before.
Not in Europe, especially.
But I don't know if you guys, I don't remember him campaigning on annexation. Tariffs, yes. But like annexation seems to have happened entirely since he was elected. Before he was sworn in, but since he was elected.
It was either that or it was like a buzzer beater, right? It was like last week of the campaign. Also, I'm taking over Canada. Wait, what?
I'm firmly in the camp of I think it was a twofold thing. I think he is a completely unwitting dumbass Russian agent.
No.
He doesn't even know it. You know what I mean? He's like this pawn for Putin. I think Putin's probably wanted to do a lot of this before. And he's like, thank God he finally is in power. So there's one on that hand. And then I just think that he has the mentality of a really dumb crow that just sees shiny things and just wants them. And somebody just danged the little thing saying wouldn't it be funny if we annexed Canada? And he was like, yes.
That is
Yes, we're
so disrespectful to crows.
We're gonna do that. I'm
not
sorry.
cool.
Okay, we love crows here, but no, you know what I mean. Just you can just throw something out as a joke, and he'll do it if it makes him seem cool.
I mean, in fairness, it's only worked for him every single time in his life up till now.
Exactly.
So I kind of get it.
yeah.
This is when you come out as pro annexation.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, at least his attempt to do it, I'm like, he might pull it off. Who knows?
Oh God.
He's gonna try.
He's gonna try for sure.
I mean, it was like, do you actually even think that he wanted to run for president in the first place? Wasn't it because like Seth Meyers made a joke about him at the White House
No, it was
Correspondents'
Obama.
Center?
It was Obama.
It was both.
the worst.
It
It was the worst
Yeah.
move of. Oh, really?
Yeah,
I feel
Seth
like
Meyers made
Obama's
a
probably
joke.
hit harder.
Obama's hit a little bit more. Yeah.
Obama was like, that was the supervillain
Yeah.
origin
But
story.
it was like a 1-2 punch of like he made fun of him, and so he's like, well, I guess I have to do it now. I mean, that's what his entire career has been.
Which makes me wonder, like, why aren't we owning this guy? Like, all we gotta do is just be like, but you can't leave us alone, and that's it. Like why aren't we demolishing this?
Yeah, I bet you
fucking
can
idiot?
punch yourself in the weird dick. Yeah.
Aye.
One thing I do enjoy when Trump goes off on these rants is that, and there's a lot less of them this time around in Trump term 2 as opposed to term 1, but I do enjoy watching the supposed adults in the room, like, try and act like what he's saying isn't the most insane shit ever. Like, the biggest one is Marco Rubio, who I feel like every time
Marco Rubio's not the biggest anything. I'm sorry.
The biggest coward.
He's
Very
a
little
big
man.
something.
Yeah.
Is every time I see him, his shoulders and neck have gotten higher and his head's gone lower. So now he's just fully a slow motion turtle retreating into his shell every time Trump talks to Zelensky and or says the word annexation. Like, his entire body is changing out of cringe.
The best part about Marco Rubio is that he honestly thought he was going to be the Cuban Obama when he came out with the Republicans. Because Rubio, like most Republicans, believed that Democrats didn't believe anything. They were like, oh, they only put this guy out here because he's diverse, and that won it for them, and we're going to do the same thing because nobody actually means this stuff, and it's going to work. And then everyone realized Marco Rubio had zero game whatsoever, and that Obama was actually a generational president. But Rubio, just the slow creeping realization over the years of I am never going to. He's that Hamilton song. You're never going to be president
Aaron
now.
Burr.
He's been that for like 10 years straight. And now we're just seeing it all on his face. That he's not even really the Secretary of State. He's there because Donald Trump thinks it's hilarious to point out how much he's not the real Secretary of State.
Yeah, there's a level of like domination, humiliation kink happening for sure with Rubio and Trump because like they hated each other so much, and I'm sure they still do. Oh, yeah. It's just one of those things where it's like it gives Trump a little bit of legitimacy and a new body to a new punching bag to just throw haymakers into. And it's, I mean, I guarantee you, he's been in a meeting and been to like Marco. It's like, Marco, get me a Diet Coke. Like he does the shit from Succession. I guarantee it. Like it's
the boar on the floor and that kind of thing?
Yeah. Well, no, the literal get me a Coke, which he did, and there was another episode of Succession.
I've never watched Succession.
I like that you were trying to make it like a big thing. I was like, no, just the literal thing I said.
Oh, no. Oh, gosh.
No, you were trying to be creative, and I was just like, no, 1 + 1 = 2. I don't know if you know this. The other thing, obviously, is about the tariffs is that they just kind of keep going in this cycle of crashing the economy. No tariffs, crash the economy. Yes, tariff. Like, it's just this, he's the boy who cried wolf. If the boy who cried wolf kept destroying jobs and lives every time he claimed wolf. Are we going to be in this cycle for just 4 years? Or do you think at one point he's actually going to commit full 25% tariffs, like because he's backed himself in a corner?
He's like a shitty ex-boyfriend who's constantly like, hey, babe, no, I promise, like, next time the tariffs are going to stay, babe. Like, I promise. Like, it's going to be like at least 50%, babe. Like, I promise. And then he just bitches out every time. I think he will. I think there will be a time where he keeps them.
Yeah.
Probably, yeah. I don't like. Here's the thing. It's just. I'm done. I'm done keeping track of this guy, and I am not trying to predict because you can't predict. He doesn't know. He doesn't know what he's going to do next.
Exactly.
So maybe.
But I think
who knows?
The nice thing is here in Canada, we watched this for 4 years. I think Americans don't realize how much we watch their shit.
Oh, yeah. Because it's not healthy.
Yeah, of course.
We watch their
it's
shit.
bad for us and it's hurting us. But I think this time around, he's like, I'm going to do the tariffs. I'm not going to do it. I'm going to do it. And we were like,
okay,
goodbye. We're gone. Like we don't have to pretend you're a thing.
Yeah.
You know, other than the nuclear weapons that they'll launch at us. But
from our own country, that'll be the biggest burn. Is that the nuclear weapons are going to launch
Surprise!
Yeah, he's
from
going to get
Canada
rid of the
into
border.
Canada?
He's going to get rid of the border
he'll
and
launch
then
those
attack
'cause they're very-
ourselves.
yeah.
They only got to go 10 kilometers from NORAD headquarters to downtown Calgary. It was like, oh fuck.
Damn it.
Carney, speaking of tariffs, Carney said the other day that Canada would not drop its retaliatory tariffs until the United States starts treating us with respect. So those are going to be in place for a long ass fucking time.
Centuries.
So permanent.
Yeah, because I think in the 160 odd years that Canada and the U.S. have been neighbors, the U.S. respected us for like 1 week after we got those hostages out of Iran. And that was about it. And then Ben Affleck stole that shit and pretended it was the CIA. So I really don't see a world in which we're going to get any. I mean, Trump alone, but like just the whole country. The idea that the U.S. is going to start to respect us. Like they don't respect anyone, and they're certainly not going to start with us.
Least of all, they respect themselves.
Yeah, that's true.
Listen, I know this is incredibly unreasonable what I'm about to say, but like when this started developing, like November, December, I had a moment. I'm like, why are we this sunk into the U.S.? Like, why is like every prime minister? No, like if I were to tell you, guys, my retirement fund is all Apple stock, you'd be like, what are you doing? You can't put everything in one thing. Like, how do we ever get to a point where someone can look at our country and be like, I'm going to ruin your economy? And our response is like, please don't. Like, how is that? How? I want to talk to every living prime minister and be like, what the fuck? Explain yourself. How are we here?
Well, there's one prime minister who is whatever the opposite of rolling in your grave is, because that was Diefenbaker's whole thing. Was like, we are getting way too tied in with the U.S. We need to go back to the UK. God damn. And he lost that argument.
That's insane.
Is that why he made that cool bunker?
Yes. He made, it's just filled with all these like UK trinkets. And
he was podcasting before it was a podcast. I don't know how I'm going to get this tape out.
Anyway, this is brought to you by Endy Mattress.
AG1.
Stamps.com. What does .com mean? Don't worry about it.
I know. I want to see a video of Diefenbaker just chugging AG1.
Use promo code Deef the Chief to get 10% off.
Deep the Chief 10. There's always a number after 10.
Hashtag hunk in the bunk.
Well,
We're already coming up with more spin-off podcasts that we now have to put out.
yeah, we get ready for the Beaverton Podcast Network. First spin-off, Diefenbaker in the bunker. Diefenbaker the Diefenbunker, obviously. Sorry.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Does this mean I had to play Kim Campbell?
As a child, she would have been like 4 years
There's
old.
only one role for me in this series of podcasts.
Oh, it's all the prime ministers. Now I see. I was like, does Kim Campbell have a connection to Diefenbaker that
I mean, if it makes you feel better, at least you have a role. I'm just going to be like, I'll be a background extra.
I take that back. I take that back. Yes. Fair.
Luke and I will just split the rest.
I guess we got them all. How's your French accent? Because you're going to have to do most of the Quebec ones.
It's just doing scenes with yourself. Just with a mustache and then like a top hat.
I will occasionally go, no.
Oh, I do know a lot about William Lyon Mackenzie King, so shotgun on that one.
He's the one who talked to ghosts,
He's the one who talked to ghosts.
Okay, good.
Yeah, among many other things. He liked to go for late night strolls, which was in his diary was so transparently him talking about visiting sex workers. And he just was like,
right.
oh, I went for another stroll again. It's like, come on, man. It's your diary. You can be honest with yourself.
I went for
But
two
I
strolls.
lost another sixpence. Every time.
I might have another disease.
I fell into a herpy bush. Once again. Oh, my word.
I think that last stroll I went for stole my wallet. Anyway.
2 crowns in the chlamydia tree? How unfortunate. I should change my path.
This guy was alive in the 50s in Canada. Doing a voice.
No, Victorian England for sure.
If you're talking to ghosts, you were in Victorian England. That's the only option.
It's like that thing where you
That's
watch
fair. That's
any
fair.
movie that's set in the past anywhere in the world, and it's like, no, they have an old-timey British accent. And that's,
They're just British now.
yeah.
It could have been
Checks
ancient
out.
Greek for all we know.
Oh, well, I think that's good. I mean, we can't end better than that. So I think I will let everyone.
That's what I said on my last walk. You can't end any better than that.
Oh, God damn it. Oh. All right.
Goes to William Lyon Mackenzie King is for sure becoming a regular on this
God.
podcast.
I hope the real life news I gave that it forms the basis of that 10-minute riff was accurate.
Listen, if it's not, we can just claim it's satire.
Yeah, checks out. Oh, God.
Yeah, no, this is the least fact check podcast.
Yeah,
Well,
exactly.
we've got a bit now.
Okay. I will let everyone else take a sip of their water and/or wipe their tears. Before we get into our big finale of the quiz, a quick message on how you can support the podcast. The biggest thing I can ask you to do is if you can go on whatever podcast app you're using, give us 5 stars, leave a review. Feel free to sign up for some new podcast apps. Give us 5 stars and leave a review. And if you gave us 5 stars back when we were doing this podcast in like 2018. Maybe that's expired. I don't know. Do it again. Do it a second 5 stars, second review. You can do it. And then also, obviously, follow us on social media. Share. We're going to be putting out video clips on all the social media platforms that exist, and maybe some ones that get invented next week. So feel free to follow us there. And finally, if you are so inclined, you can join the Patreon. You might be wondering, hey, in all this conversation, they didn't talk about Trudeau leaving. Well, actually, fun fact, we did. It's in the extended cut. Beaver cut? That doesn't sound good. The extended cut.
Jesus.
The extended cut of this episode that is available only to Patreon subscribers. You can hear Claire's "ohs" for even longer.
Only you get the beaver cut.
God.
Stop saying it. It's like it's so deep in my headphones.
Guys,
That's what that guy goes on strolls for.
that guy. Guys, I'm begging for money here. Let me focus. You can join up at any level. I'm keeping it going. You can join up at any level, and you get access to an extended cut every week.
The delicious beaver cut.
I'm not calling it that.
William Lyman King, how much would you spend for a beaver cut? How does that cost?
6 crowns and 4 pence at the least.
At least 2 syphili.
Oh my God. TVs were in people's homes when this man was alive. Any amount of support you give is really appreciated. If you don't have the funds, absolutely no worries. We appreciate you listening, checking us out. Thank you so much for listening. And now it's time for the approximately 10-minute long quiz.
It's the approximately 10-minute long quiz. Brought to you by Time.
Every week I ask our panel to play the approximately 10-minute long quiz in which I put their knowledge of some lesser-known news stories to the test, some of which I might have read wrong and were just actually fake news. I don't know, but we're going to find out. The winner gets absolutely nothing, but it's still a lot of fun. Our first, by the way, all these questions are for all of you. Feel free to jump in at any point. Our first question. In what rather unique manner did UK Lib Dem leader Ed Davey encourage Britons to rally around Canada in our dispute with the US?
In a Dickensian Cockney accent. That was my original answer. I'm not just saying that because of King.
Do you want to do it again?
No, that wasn't actually the Dickensian Cockney accent.
right.
It's like, oh, let's support our Canadian friends. Freshen your drink, governor. That's all I got.
Yeah. No, as I said, I was like, wait, that wasn't Cockney. I got it.
I should have just stuck with King. Oh, yes.
Beaver cuts for all. That's how we'll support them.
The Russians had satellites in space.
Quite, yes, they did. They saw what I did on my little walks. Saucy communists.
You can find this in the Apple Store under the history section.
I like to think that he created a bill that stated that any Americans entering the country would just immediately be thrown in the nearest harbor.
It would be ironic.
Nice.
I think he just said, like, maybe we take over Canada again?
Why is that everyone's solution to everything?
Stop doing that, everybody.
All very good guesses. All completely incorrect, but that's fine. He threw a poutine party because he's really trying to hit the nail directly on that. Yes, Ed Davey, who is known, by the way, I didn't mention this, he is known for his stunts. He's the fun party leader who does stunts.
They got a real sliding scale of fun over there.
It's a dreary country. So he burst through a Canadian flag, like the Kool-Aid Man, at a Canadian-themed party. I'm not making this up. In central London, and invited local media to dine with him on a menu of Canadian poutine, beaver tails, and Canadian beer. It was all part of Davy's campaign to pressure Starmer, the Prime Minister, to fly to Canada to show us his support. Starmer immediately refused. King Charles has also refused to weigh in on the annexation threats. So the next time UK you get invaded, we are not helping. We mean it this time.
Shocking that did not work.
Yeah,
I mean, if that's not going to work, we're doomed.
Yeah, I mean, what a sacrifice Ed Davey made, eating fries and delicious fried foods and saying something. Like, he's, what a hero.
Won't someone think of the Ed Davey?
I love how all the European people are like, just shut up. Just shut up or he'll come for us. Like, it's like you're in a bar and there's some drunk guy beating up on one dude and he's like, I know if I try to stop this, he'll murder me.
Just gonna order my pint and hide over here.
Yeah, it's the Good Samaritan who always gets shivved. I'm not tipping in. Yeah.
Fabulous.
We're the goodest Samaritan. Or so we tell ourselves.
Yeah.
Next question. For what cartoonish reason did a Tesla car hit a wall this week?
I mean, it blew up, but that's probably not a joke.
No, not this time. Although, usually.
Someone painted a tunnel entrance on it.
You get a point.
Is that real?
That is real.
Holy shit!
That is 100% real.
You gotta watch this video, my man. It's the best.
You're not allowed to get the real answer before I give my fake answer.
I'm sorry. I mean, he clearly didn't know it was the real answer. Yeah, full Wile E. Coyote and Roadrunner. Full Wile E. Coyote and Roadrunner. YouTuber, I said cartoonish for a reason. YouTuber Mark Robber, I'm not sure I'm pronouncing that.
That was a stunt, right?
Painted a picture of a road on it was a fake brick wall, but he painted a picture of a road on a fake brick wall. And then he got in his Tesla, set it to like 40 miles an hour, and went straight at it.
I don't know if I believe this.
Oh, I believe it.
I watched the video. It looks pretty real because it's part of. He's not doing it as like a prank. He's like a real car guy, and he's doing it as a part of like 10 different like tests he gave Tesla and another self-driving car. The car didn't even think to slow down. It went right through it at 40 miles an hour.
That does not surprise me.
Yeah.
I have to watch this. No.
Well, Tesla's self-driving technology is shit.
Yes. Yeah.
Like
the other car did fine, but he did. Yeah.
It
Tesla.
runs into things all the time.
It's because it doesn't actually use radar in it. It's just cameras.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's 100% just based on cameras.
If the camera gets blocked, you're
I can't finish them out. I'm still going to be processing this for the rest of the episode.
Yeah. Now when you drive home in your Tesla self-driving car tonight, it's going to be rough.
Before we move on from this, I do want to hear what Claire's joke is.
Yes.
I was just going to say that the Tesla realized that its occupant believes that Nazis are bad.
It's self-destructive.
Yeah. It was a put myself out of my misery thing.
I had a plan. I was close. My plan B joke was it gained self-awareness. I cannot believe that happened. Let's just move on. I'm sorry. Otherwise, I'm gonna fixate.
No problem. Well, maybe for his next text, this YouTuber can drive a Tesla off a cliff with Elon Musk in it to see if it keeps going as long as he doesn't look down. Also would be good. Third question. What non-drug, non-poop item did the TSA, the American Airport Police, find in a traveler's pants at the Newark Airport? Newark, New Jersey.
Ben Mulroney trying to escape the leftist hellscape that is Canada.
That's the way he smuggles in?
Yep.
Like it? Yeah. I mean, those silver coiffed hairs just poking out of a guy's belt.
Don't want to know where they're poking out.
Bitcoin. I don't know how crypto works. Is it just a bag of Bitcoins?
Yeah, bag of Bitcoins.
Bitcoin bag of
Six bag of bits.
Oh, 6
Big old bag.
All right, do it again.
Oh no, it's the Prime Minister.
To be fair, I'm a medium and I'm just channeling him with this.
I mean,
He would've loved that.
He would have, yeah. If you know anything about him, he would have loved that.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I was going to say if it's the Newark Airport, it's a plane ticket for someone who couldn't afford to fly into LaGuardia.
Yeah. I mean, that bus goes right to, it's a good bus.
It's a good bus.
But yes. No, does anyone want to take a shot at the real answer, or does anyone know the real answer?
So found in pants.
Yep.
I mean, it's always some kind of animal.
Exactly what I was thinking.
Yeah.
What's crazy? What's a crazy octopus?
No, that one I will admit is crazier than the real story.
Like a small monkey.
Yeah, capuchin,
yes.
like a little.
Turtle. It was a turtle. It was
rare.
detected after a body scanner alarm went off at the Newark Airport. They conducted a pat down and determined there was something concealed in the groin area.
I was just going to say, is that a turtle in your pants, or are you happy to see me? I mean, just look at oh, no.
The turtle was 5 inches long and wrapped, in a small blue towel.
Yeah, it was.
It was a...
Upon my walks, I occasioned a turtle. Oh, An unfortunate accident. It ended up in, well, let's not disclose that. You can watch the Russian satellite video. It's quite graphic.
The first season of Mad Men is set in the time period in which this guy was. I don't know if that's true. He might have died before 1960, but he was around through the 50s, I think. But anyways. All right. No points there now. Still.
We just eliminated all the points.
All the points are gone.
From that last act out.
Between his win from earlier and his accidental wall painting guess. This next game is called Complete the Headline. This one concerns Danielle Smith. Alberta Premier Danielle Smith says she prefers blank role in trade war with U.S.
I'm going to say whatever role Ben Shapiro tells her to have, which is probably wife and mother in the kitchen.
Yeah, I think she just prefers an American role.
Ooh, good guess.
I was going to say Switzerland's role. It's a deep cut during World War II.
Yeah.
Anyways.
I have a deeper cut. I was.
It's going to be Prussian for sure.
Norwegian, actually. No, I was going to say Quisling role, which was the prime minister of Norway who collaborated with the Nazis, and they executed him after the war, as well they should have.
Luke learned that when he was over there destroying their electoral system.
He was a piece of shit.
That was his code name, Quisling. Yeah.
Operation Quisling.
Does anyone want to take a guess at the real answer?
Oh, maybe. Yeah. I bet you it's something like a peacemaker, ombudsman, just a
I was gonna say
sellout
neutral,
collaborator.
like,
Yeah.
All good guess is not good cop role. That's what she wants to be, the good cop to, I guess, Doug Ford's bad cop
What
is
does
what she
that
was
even
suggesting.
mean?
That means she's a collaborator.
Yeah.
But there's no good cop, bad cop in
In the
this situation.
annexation of Canada. Like, this is not a thing.
You know those cops who are also working with the criminals? That's the good cop.
That's what I refer to as, yeah, that's a good cop.
Yeah.
Good
Yeah.
God.
The bad cop just arrests people. The good cop lets them out. That's how good cop, bad cop
And all the
works.
criminals are like, this guy's a good cop. I like this cop.
He's a criminal's cop. He's a people's cop.
Oh, man. And our last question, also complete the headline. And keep in mind, this is the lighthearted part of the show, so it's not a really fun. I realize this could be interpreted as a really dark thing. It's not. 4-year-old calls cops after his mom
Had an expired visa.
Wow.
Tune in next week for the Beaverton Weekly Report.
Okay, look, my first thought was just kicked his ass in Fortnite, but then I realized I don't really know how old 4-year-old. I'm just like, what do 4-year-olds do? I don't know. They probably don't play video games.
Oh,
so.
Luke?
This on a happy note, I took my 4-year-old nephew this week to like an old retro video game arcade, and he demolished.
Yeah.
He was
Okay.
playing that old 4-player Ninja
Stop.
Turtles game. He was all about
Okay,
it.
well then she kicked his ass in Fortnite and he got mad.
That's it.
Love
there
it.
we go.
I got nothing.
That's fine.
I got nothing.
The real answer is 4-year-old calls cops after his mom ate his ice cream.
Well, that's a punishable offense.
Yes, absolutely.
I'm on his side. I
Take her
genuinely.
away, Covers.
Terrible mother.
Do you guys remember? This is so dumb. Do you guys remember the fancy ice cream cake Viennetta
Yep.
that had like the commercials where people were in like fine like 3-piece suits
Right.
eating Viennetta,
Like
like
ruffly,
crystal shades?
ruffly,
Yeah.
something like that. Yeah.
It lives rent free in my dreams. I've never seen one in real life. I assume I'm not wealthy enough.
I know what I'm getting you for
They're
your
actually
birthday.
They were. I don't think
They're actually only
they were
available.
Not expensive.
They're only available on that island that Trudeau went to. that's the only place you can get them.
Not the pedophile island.
Not the pedophile island.
But I distinctly remember my mom eating the last piece of that, and I was so like I didn't even like it that much. But the commercial was just so ingrained in my head as that's an important, valuable thing. I was like, God damn it, Mom!
Like, Mom, that was my inheritance.
Yeah, exactly.
I'll show you. I'll destroy
I knew you were gonna say
systems throughout the world.
I'm gonna become such a piece of shit.
Let me consult with King.
Agent Quisling is on the scene.
Well, that completes the approximately 10-minute long quiz, and our winner, Nazier!
I got it because Teslas are insanely dangerous.
You have won absolutely nothing save for the right of first plug if you would like the audience to know anything.
Oh,
Or check something out.
Yeah. Oh, cool. Can I plug my other podcast?
Of course.
Well, I have a couple. I have Comedians and Dungeons Getting Dragons, where I DM a bunch of super hilarious comedians, and I have another one. Which you're probably going to find unlikely, but I have a good news podcast called Total Annihilation.
That's a great name
Great
for
name.
a
Thank
podcast.
That is pretty great.
Absolutely. And I assume people can check that out wherever they get their podcasts. Or, yeah, awesome. Ian MacIntyre, anything you want to let the people know about?
I write for this really fun website called the Beaverton. You guys are probably dig it. You should check it out. Yeah, that's mostly what I'm doing these days.
Awesome. Clare Blackwood?
Yeah, I also write for the site called the Beaverton. I would just say you can find me on Blue Sky at Clare Blackwood.
Awesome. Yeah, you're killing it on there.
Oh,
Yeah, the
thanks.
videos are great.
Oh, thanks. Oh, yeah. I guess I should say check out my YouTube. I always forget about it, but that's where I put all my videos.
Absolutely. Sincerely hilarious stuff. The Poilievre's assistant bit is a great recurring bit.
Thank you. I love Mandy very much. It's yeah, she's a delight, and she's gonna kill herself at some point. But yeah, I think my YouTube handle is It's Clare Blackwood because Clare Blackwood was weirdly taken. So anyway, that's me.
Awesome. Thank you all so much for doing the show. Thank you everyone for listening. I don't have a wrap up. Sorry. Thank you very much for listening. We really appreciate it. We will be back next week. Yeah, thank you so much for checking us out. And we can't wait to keep doing this for many more weeks and not drop off the face of the earth randomly. We promise.
Take us out of here, William Lyon Mackenzie's ghost.
Well, once upon a midnight weary, I did find myself quite filled to the brim. All right,
The Beatles were in Liverpool playing concerts.
Yes, I met them once when I was walking.
Bye, everyone.
The Beaverton Weekly Report is produced by Andrew Rivamy in partnership with the From Superheroes Network. Visit FromSuperheroes.com to hear more great podcasts like this.